Well, first of all, how do you assess playing against the types of players that you did, Premier League footballers, and kind of making a mental note of that and taking it into the league programme?
Well, playing against them, I think my first initial reaction was, it's just another game, really. I think even when, you come out onto the pitch and you see them there, it was just, nothing really came over me type thing. It was just, we've got a job to do, against, whatever the opposition, we always have a plan in place and we look to implement that plan, in the game. And I think, for large parts of the game, I thought we did. I thought we were very effective in what we wanted to do in the first half. And, you just see at half time, the quality they bring on. And I think towards the end, they started to kind of, show their Premier League quality in terms of dragging us about a little bit. But it was good. It was a good occasion. But ultimately we had a job to do, and we didn't get through to the next round. But I think we can take a lot of pride and take a lot of positives going into the fixture on the weekend.
Yeah, and how are the legs after all of that? Because it must have been energy sapping as well, playing in that match on Wednesday night.
Yeah, they're not too bad, to be honest. I think it was a bit of everything in terms of physical fatigue and mental fatigue. Because what an occasion it was, what came with it. The atmosphere that we created on Wednesday night was fantastic, and it was a pleasure to play in, and hopefully the fans can do the same on Saturday and come out in the numbers and support us again.
How much, following on from the MK Dons performance, second half performance against the MK Dons and then the cup match the other day, do you guys feel as though you've given yourself a platform to build on here into the league campaign after the start of the season that you've had?
I think it's exactly what you've just said. I think we have now created a platform for ourselves, to go on and, express what we want to do, as a team going forward. And I think the performance against MK Dons, especially second half, was, for a team that's, top of the table in this league, it was very one-sided. And I think, like I said, we can take all the positives from that, and then doing it against a Premier League opposition, I think it's a good stepping stone for us to take into the weekend and hopefully carry that on, because we've created positives, but ultimately the results have been negative. So that it's about putting them two together and creating a performance and then getting a result as well.
It's been quite the challenge for you guys, because you're obviously as a newer signing here, but as a group as a whole, you're fighting expectation as well. So the idea of having a slow start was not in anybody's minds until it happened, really.
No, well, it's obviously no one wants to be in that position, and obviously we've had the start that we wouldn't have liked, but that's you can go two ways with it. You can hide away from and. Or you can take responsibility and you can deal with the adversity that we may see ourselves under. But I think within the group and the staff, everyone in the club, we know that we're more than capable of getting more results than we have done. And I think it's only a matter of time, really. And I just think that the performances will come, and they are starting to show that they're coming, and then the thing that will follow next is the results. But I think it's just a matter of standing up to the adversity that we face ourselves, and making ourselves accountable, and then dealing with it, and rolling the sleeves up and cracking on, and turn the tide.
The manager's just been sat there talking about you and the fact that you were the captain of Halifax. You've come and you've played in multiple positions for Doncaster Rovers this season, and how pleased he was with that. How would you sum up making the jump from the National League to here?
I think I've noticed the quality of the teams in this league. I think definitely the quality that the teams have in terms of individuals. I think that's definitely a step higher, and it's something that I've just kind of taken in my stride. I think obviously every time I play, I want to do my best, and that's what I've tried to do. And I think obviously the first few games I was at left back, and then since the last two games I've moved to left side centre half, and it's something that off the back of these last two games I've really enjoyed, and it's. Yeah, it's been tough. Obviously, you look at the results and you find it tough. But I can count myself as one who is kind of, in some kind of ways, enjoying the adversity, because I look about and I see the squad that we've got, and I believe that we'll be absolutely fine. And it's just, again, comes down to a matter of time. And I put the whole squad, the whole staff, is facing the adversity head on, and I'm very comfortable in the fact that we will be absolutely fine.
Good lad. Thank you.
No problem.
Jack, that's one thing I did want to pick up on. It seems like there's still optimism, excitement about the place. There's positivity and confidence and just a belief generally when you talk to everyone that things will be absolutely fine, as you say.
Yeah, and you get that feeling from being around, the training ground, being around the stadium, seeing everyone and stuff. And there's an optimism about us, and I think that's kind of where you have to be. You need characters like that who are gonna, when things aren't going everyone's way, you need characters who are gonna, work in different ways. You need people who are gonna drive the standards, but you also need people who are gonna be positive, off the pitch as well. And I think we've got all the right ingredients within the club, to turn this around.
Yeah, you seem to have settled in well personally. You sort of alluded to it with Andy. You played every game so far, so clearly you are dealing with that step up quite well.
Yeah, well, I feel, obviously, again, I come back to the results. That's the first thing I want, is the results. I'd take 3 points over a good individual performance, because the main thing is playing for the team and stuff. But I think if we take the results aside, I think it's been obviously a challenge dealing with the quality that of other teams in League Two, and there's some good opposition that we've come up against. But it's something that I'm just taking in my stride, and I think with the run of games I'm currently in at the moment, I think it's becoming more and more. What's the word I'm looking for? Like, it's becoming more settled in terms of the approach, in terms of what we want to do and how I'm expected to play. And it's just the repetition side of things. It's the same with anything. The more you repeat things, the easier it becomes. And I think I'm in that. I'm finding my groove in that sense.
Which position would be preferred then, left back or left centre half? Either really. I think obviously you put the performances with me playing at left side centre half. If you look at that, then I'd say that I've probably played better at left side centre half. But if you forget all that, I'll play wherever in this team. Like as long as I'm on the pitch, I'll do a job for this team in whichever way, shape or form I can. And obviously, we started as a 4, and at the last 2 games we've gone to a 3, and I've had 2 different roles to do, but it's not just me that have been having different roles to play in the team. And that I come back to the type of characters we have, who there's certain players who have played different roles, a couple of different positions already this season, and they've more than adapted, and that says a lot for the characters that we have in this team. Yeah, just reflecting more generally, how keen were you to come back into the Football League? Was that a big aim for you when you left Halifax?
It was, yeah. It was always an ambition of mine. I think it's always an ambition of anyone's to play as high as they can. And I had a brief spell of playing in League Two when I was 19, 20, and it wasn't enough to kind of say I was a League Two player, and then I kind of just fell a little bit down the pecking order in terms of leagues and stuff. And when I got my chance at Halifax, and I kind of found my feet in the National League, I think it was a case of, right, the next step is League Two, and I had to make sure that it was the right thing to do, the right place to be, under the right development of the staff, and who can give me the right things and the right platform to perform. And this is definitely the place that, for me, being here since June, I've had like so much development put into me, and the effort and attention to detail that goes into the performances, and my job as an individual is everything I was looking for in terms of making the step up.
Yeah, it feels from the outside looking in that there's a glass ceiling in the National League
perhaps for players and for teams as well. So did you ever feel that?
What do you mean by glass
So
ceiling?
it's a very difficult league to get out of, in terms of once you find yourself in there, it can be hard to get out.
Yeah, I just think obviously the two teams going up it's not ideal in terms of the quality, because you look at teams last year like Notts County in the National League last year came here and performed very well, and then there's Wrexham's, but there's like the Chesterfields of the league and stuff, and there is a lot of quality in that league, and I do agree with you in the sense that there is a glass ceiling. It is quite hard to get out of.
Yeah. Have you found the step up? You mentioned, Andy, the individual teams and stuff, individual players. On the whole, the teams and stuff, I suppose you mentioned Wrexham's and Notts Counties, but is there a noticeable step up?
I wouldn't say it's. It definitely is a step up in terms of quality, but that's no disrespect to the National League at all. I think there's quality throughout the full league in terms of players that are coming into this league who whether that's they're making the step up or they've dropped down. But it's a tough league this year, but I come back to saying that we are more than capable of competing at the right end of the table, and I just think, like I've alluded to before, it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, I noticed you don't score many. Why's that?
Never have my shooting boots on, I don't think. No, I've never scored a professional goal, but no, I mean I had a couple of chances in the first game against Harrogate. I had a snapshot against Milton Keynes. No, I probably just need to have more shooting practice, I think.
Yeah, is it something you're desperate to get, that first professional goal?
I wouldn't say desperate. I think what comes before that for me is clean sheets. That responsibility of, first and foremost, I'm a defender. It's kind of, it's the things like putting in blocks, like sending one off the line, stuff like that, putting last-ditch tackles in, keeping the ball out of the net for 90 minutes is something that I try my best to do, and that's at the forefront of my mind, and creating partnerships with people at the back, so we're all on the same page of how each other operate, and I think that's the first thing I look to, and then I've said this before, I think when the first goal comes, I do not know what anyone can expect celebration wise. Anything could happen, but hopefully that does come, because it'll be a lovely feeling to experience that.
Fingers crossed. The final one, did you play with anyone while you were at Luton who's still there now?
Yeah, Pele.
Okay. Is that the guy that's come from the conference all the way up?
Yeah. So I was there with him. There was. So it's just the first one I can think of is Pele, and we're still, from the time I was there, we still have a group chat, and Pele's in it, and we're. Funnily enough, we've all just been invited to one of the lads' weddings, so Pele's been invited as well, and we still keep in touch from them days. One of the good guys in football is Pele.